Hey everybody, I hope you're having a great day. See my kiddos, they are playing in the backyard. They were jumping on the trampoline with a sprinkler. But I wanted to pop on here because I have been meaning to do a Q&A. So we have been getting some yard work done. We're getting a shed built and we redid our entire house on the inside this winter. And so there's just a lot of stuff going on. And so I wanted to pop on here because I've got a lot of Q&A questions that a lot of you have asked. And I thought I would pop on and answer those for you. And so simple things like, how did I start? How do you get your family eating? Electrolytes, lots of things like that a lot of you have been asking. So we're going to start with just the basics. Q&A. How did we start and what do you do? The basics and where we started with our family is we didn't dive all in 1 week. It actually took our family like 6 to 8 months to really truly understand what we were doing. And so what does that look like? I tell everybody that's starting, because sometimes, and I will tell you this right up front, there are so many different types of keto, low carb, all of those different Facebook groups, right? And you're going to hear a lot of different messages. You're going to hear you have to do really high fat. You're going to hear people going, nope, you've got to do high protein. You're going to hear, oh, you can't. There's so many different variables, right? You have to do net carbs. Nope, you can do total carb. Like there's so much out there that you have to choose what works for you first of all, and it's not a one size fits all. So when you're first starting and your option is I just want to feel better. How do we get to better, right? I mean, would you love ketosis? Yes. Like ketones are a fuel source. If you've joined this group and you're like, hey, I have no idea what this is even about. The ketogenic diet started actually a long time ago, and it actually started for medical reasons. And so, but what they found over the last 100 years, so long, is how powerful ketones are. Your body can produce them or you can drink them. Yep, you can drink them and we'll talk about that later. But if you can get your body in ketosis, and I'll tell you this as well. I say if because my husband started this journey 5 years ago and I watched him go in and out of ketosis. I watched him prick his finger, weigh his food, measure everything. I'm a stay-at-home mom. We've got 4 girls. We homeschool. And I was like, there's no way I'm doing that. And guess what? I've never struggled with my weight besides being pregnant. And so I was like, why would I have to do that? Now, fast forward 5 years and something that I call my mom fuel. My story started with a product, but I didn't truly understand the power of ketones until we switched our family over to eating low-carb keto-ish or strict keto, the parents, taking the product, and then we actually have gotten to learn from doctors and experts in the ketone space. And so keto is more than just fat loss. A lot of you will come here and go, I want to lose 30 pounds, 50 pounds, 25 pounds, 100 pounds, whatever that is, right? But what you're going to realize is all of the benefits that you're going to gain from being ketosis or having ketones as a fuel source. Even just the brain, it's super powerful. So where do you start? Let's dive in. We started with one meal at a time. We started with going, okay, because I was overwhelmed. I went to the grocery store and I would come home in tears and go, babe, I don't know what to make, because he really wanted our family to do this and I needed to take baby steps. And so I said, I'll do breakfast. We got out the cereals. We got out the bagels. We stopped buying the bread. That was like number 1. We started drinking more water. That was number 2. And then we went meal by meal. So I walked the girls through, hey, bacon, eggs, or sausage, and we made our eggs lots of different ways, hard-boiled, over easy, omelets, different egg bakes you can make. Or sometimes we just make some sausages and I throw them on the table when the girls are hungry for breakfast, they eat. So once we felt good with breakfast, I moved on to lunch. Lunch was pretty easy. I just took away the sandwiches. We just started making like deli meats and vegetables, and if you can handle dairy, cheese, pickles, and ham, cream, cheese pickle roll-ups. So here's a couple things. What we say in our house is we say there's good, better, and there's best. So a good option, like if you're out and about and you're traveling, we travel a lot. And if your option is McDonald's, yes, sometimes that's your option. We would just order a whole bunch of cheeseburgers and take the bun off. That's a better option than eating it with the bun, right? So that's a good option. Better is we stop someplace where we make our own food or we're eating something that's a better option, not fast food. And we're making our own food. We took away the bread, took away the potatoes. The best option is like good, organic, solid, homegrown food, right? Will some of this meat have nitrates in it? Yes, it will. And you can buy deli meat with no nitrates in it. So don't get caught up on those little things, because what happens is a lot of you watch and you go, I was told by this person not to eat nitrates, and I was told by this person not to eat this type of meat, and I was told by this person you can't have dairy. You have to do what works best for you. And if you pay attention to how your body's feeling, you're going to figure it out. So that's what we did. Sometimes our meat has nitrates in it, sometimes our meat doesn't. And then we moved to suppers. I just stopped making potatoes, rice, and garlic bread, which I loved. And we just ate, we grill, we make a lot of meat and vegetables and salads. We keep it so simple. So sometimes people will say, Stephanie, why don't you share my recipes? And I will try to share my recipes on here, but I always say, you know what? There is no shortage of recipes out there for you. Go to Pinterest and type in keto meals. Type in kid-friendly keto meals, dairy-free keto meals, keto lunches, keto breakfast, keto suppers. Like, there are so many things out there. I have a list of foods that I've created that if you want that, let me know, and I'll just show you exactly like what's on a daily, like what we eat on a regular basis, but we keep it super simple. So I hate making something that has more than like 6 ingredients. I don't want to spend all my day in the kitchen. We look at food as fuel. I'm not going to spend all day to eat a meal. Like, that's just how we do it. I don't have time to do that, and I don't want to do it. So that's how we started. So if you're just starting, don't get overwhelmed. Don't mess up good for perfect. You go good, better, best, and take one meal at a time. So coming up, we're already past lunch, supper. You've got one meal. We're not looking at tomorrow. Hopefully you already planned out your week, but you're looking at like today. What can I do to eat the best for supper, right? And then for snacks, we just did simple things. Hard-boiled eggs, pickles, beef sticks, cheese sticks, vegetables. When you're eating high-fat, low-carb, guess what? You actually shouldn't be that hungry. You don't have to follow the clock when the clock says it's time to eat. You don't have to eat 6 meals a day. You are listening to your body. When you're hungry, you go eat, right? And so if the clock says noon and you're not hungry, then maybe wait another hour until you're hungry. Something I've also learned too is people ask about water. And so I've had a couple arguments with a few of you on here because I'll say, hey, drink approximately half your body weight in ounces in water. And some of you will be like, that's too much. And my doctor told me not to. Again, I'm not a doctor, so you can listen to your doctor. But as I was always told and taught that if you are thirsty, like if you're really thirsty, you're on the verge of dehydration. So what we do is we just keep water cups on our counter. We always fill them up. And so drink your water. One more tip that I always get is people go, what do you do with cravings? What do you do with sweet treats? We never, ever keep anything in our house. Like, I don't make real cookies. I call them real. I don't make fake cookies with real sugar, fake sugar. I don't bake unless we make a keto treat, which is not very often. But when we go to, like, for example, sometimes people say, how do you get your kids not to eat those treats? My kids do. We were just at a birthday party yesterday and they were like, should we have one? And so I'll give them stipulations. You can have this or this, right? You don't need all of it. And so, but when your kids are eating the way that you do and you're not talking about a diet, right? Like, the reason people have a hard time with their kids eating a certain way is because the parents are constantly talking about losing weight. I'm fat. I've got to get in shape. And so the kids look at what you're eating and they're going, oh, that's mom's fat loss diet. So I'm not going to eat that salad because that's if she wants to lose fat. But if you talk about eating healthy, if you talk about incorporating this as a family, if you talk about what you're doing and going, hey, we're fueling our bodies the best we can, or if your kids complain about a stomach ache and they just ate like 5 cookies, you could say, what do you think caused that stomach ache? And they're going to be like, my girls will go, I probably shouldn't have eaten that sucker, right? You have to help your kids understand it so that when they're old enough to choose, they choose wisely. They don't binge on food. So our whole family eats this way. We all drink pure therapeutic ketones. So those are a couple of the questions. How do I start? A lot of people ask, why do you need electrolytes? When your body is truly in ketosis, whether it's with the diet or with the product or both, your body's flushing out sodium, magnesium, potassium. So there's a couple ways you can do it. You can go buy electrolytes. Just grab something that has, potassium or magnesium, not Gatorade. Sorry, that's not going to count. But you can even do something as simple as Himalayan salt and lemon in your water. Use that. That'll be great. If you ever get like a headache, it's probably because you either need water or some electrolytes. So we keep Himalayan salt around our house all the time. Just crank some in your water and drink it. You'll be just fine. Otherwise, there's lots of different electrolytes you can get. You can go look on Amazon, but just refueling that potassium, magnesium. There's something called Calm that we drink at night, CALM. It comes in different flavors. I think we have a lemonade. So that's the electrolytes. Drink lots of water. And I always encourage people to try not to keep juices and things in your house because that's an easy go-to grab food, right? So I think that was it. Electrolytes, it was how to start. Oh, and we're going to talk about calories. If you saw a video that I did, a lot of people are going, I'm at a plateau. We're going to talk about that also in a minute. I've reached a plateau, or, I've done everything super strict. It's not working. And I always have to ask you a couple questions. Okay. If you've been super strict, how are you weighing yourself? Because when you're eating keto or low carb or drinking the product, you need to know something. You need to get rid of your scale because the scale is not a true depiction of your weight, because ketones preserve muscle. And so what you need to understand is this: when you're losing fat, it weighs out differently. You're going to see it in your inches lost, in your clothes fitting differently. You might see more reps at the gym. You might be able to run further. There's so many different variables of how you can weigh yourself as far as measuring goes, right? And so is it nice to see the scale move? Yes, but you're not going to weigh yourself for like a month or even at least a couple weeks. And so you just have to understand that. So when you get frustrated, first of all, this is about consistency and longevity and making this a lifestyle approach. This isn't about losing 20 pounds in 2 weeks. Like, if you're here to feel better, and you're here to keep this long term. Our family's been doing this for 3 years this month. This is when we started. And we've been able to stay consistent with eating, feeling better, moving our bodies, helping other people do it. And it's because we've gone with the implementation of good, better, best, and don't mess up good for perfect. So that's what we do. Now, if you've reached a plateau, I get that question all the time, what do? You can look at your dairy intake, because oftentimes, while a lot of people eat dairy, we eat too much dairy. And so not everybody can handle it. And a lot of people snack on cheese a lot and eat a lot of heavy whipping cream. We've actually ourselves cut back. We can handle dairy, but we cut back a lot too. So that's something to look at. And a couple things that people overeat. You know what's so fun about being back in Minnesota? I know everybody in the town. And so it's different than living in Florida. Nobody knows me. So anyways, peanuts. People overeat nuts. Can you have some nuts? Yes. But when you bring the container of nuts home, you want to know what you need to do? Get those little snack baggies, measure them out. So when you go to grab a snack, you don't grab like handfuls of nuts, because it's easy to do, and you grab one little baggie. It's okay. They're jumping on the trampoline. Are you having fun? And so that's what you do. So I also want to go back to calories, because I learned this the other day as well. So this is something good to share. If you track your food, some people use MyFitnessPal, some people use just a keto calculator, whatever it is. I learned this, and I probably won't say it right, but 1 gram of like protein, 1 gram of carb, 1 gram of anything else equals so many calories. But did you know that 1 gram of fat equals a little bit more calories? So I'm going to tell you what often happens. People will go low carb, high fat. People will all of a sudden come over and go strict keto, but you want to know what they do? And I think I helped some of you make this mistake. Are you done? Okay. So I often hear everybody tracking their food, and you want to know what happens is they'll go, hey, I didn't get all my fats in for the day. What am I supposed to do, right, at nighttime? And they'll go, I'm going to go grab some fat bombs. Oh, I'm going to go eat half an avocado, because they're going on their tracker, but not how they feel. You're eating too much. If you're not hungry, don't eat. And you have to understand that when you incorporate fats, those are more calories. And so you really shouldn't have to eat as much. I hope that's making sense. So if you're trying to get all your fats in for the day, but you're not hungry and you're popping fat bombs at night, what do you think is going to happen? I'm just learning this as well. And I was like, oh, light bulb moment. I guess I didn't really realize that. And so my encouragement to you is this: when people first start, I don't track my food anymore, but when we used to, I tell people, if you're just starting, or even if you're like need to get back on track, go into MyFitnessPal or post your favorite tracker below, track all of your food in one day of what you think is good, what you normally would grab. Don't get freaked out. Don't get stressed out about not hitting all of your macros. Just hit the nutrition button at the end of the day and see where it ends up. Just visually go, oh, I ate like 40% carbs. That's really high, right? If your goal is low carb. So just see where it's at, and then you can tweak it. I hope that's making sense. And if you want to do calories, you can track that as well, just till you get a good understanding of what to eat and what not to eat. I know what I should be eating, what my body can handle, and when I'm hungry. So I'm just more in tune with that, but I've been doing it for longer, so I don't feel like I have to track. If I wanted to lose another 5 pounds, I'd either have to hit the gym, or I'm going to have to really track my food and probably get a deficit in my calories. I hope that's making sense. So that's something that I really want to talk about, because that comes up all the time. So managing your cravings, somebody talked about that as well. Real dark chocolate is great to keep in the house. Again, I told you I don't keep stuff in our house that my biggest that I crave, because oftentimes you'll go grab one, even if your kids have a treat, and you're going to eat way too much. So we treat treats as treats, and they're not in our house, but we'll have them out and about sometimes. And that way you don't eat the whole pan, but you eat one. I hope that's helpful. So it's not like we're not human. We do have treats. They're just not, I just don't make them here. I don't keep them here. That's why I was telling my sister last night at the birthday party, I said, this is why I don't make cake. Because I used to be that one in the middle of the night where I would sneak outside and the cake wasn't completely lined up, like it wasn't completely cut, and I had to make it even, and then I'd eat a little bit more and have to make it even. Does anybody else ever done that? Where like, oh, it's not even, I should probably take this little sliver. Oh, I ate too much, I should probably take this little sliver. That's what happens. Don't do it. And so I hope that's helpful. Okay, so we talked about tracker. Also, what you need to understand is this. Your stress level and your sleep play a big factor in fat loss. I know a lot of you don't like to think that, but sometimes I'll go through everything that you are eating. Sometimes I'll go through everything that you're doing. You might be busting your booty in the gym, but you're not sleeping and you are stressed out. So, a couple things you can do. Take a breather. Do some mindfulness, like take 20 minutes to yourself and just chill out, because stress plays a big factor in that, on how your body holds on to things. And so I hope that's helpful. Hey, lastly, I just found out, because I thought this was done, but the reboot is for sale until the 7th. So if you want a Kickstarter, this is available at ketomom.com. This is great. I'll just touch really quick on it. It's a 60-hour reboot, and what that is all it does is it helps you mentally get ready for, like, hey, I'm starting this process. I'm getting back on track. It gets past a plateau. It really gets you into stored fat mode. It gives you keto calm, keto tea, keto broth. Like, we've got an amazing nutrition-packed electrolytes full of amazing box of amazingness. And so if you want more information, let me know. Go to ketomom.com. You can get this, and this is super great. And so also, somebody talked about sleep. I learned this as well, and I actually learned this at the last event that I was at in Kentucky this last week. A man came on, he talked all about sleep and the power of sleep and what people, it's not about the quantity, the quality, it's not about the quantity of sleep, it's about your quality of sleep. My husband uses something called sleep cycle. And so what it does is it wakes you up when you're not in your deep REM sleep, but the phone wakes you up, it tracks your brain waves, and it wakes you up at your heightened state when you're like almost awake. And so, and it tracks, you can actually see how deep of sleep you get. So it's called Sleep Cycle. He loves it. It's an app, super great. And so that's helpful as well, but your sleep is really important. So it's not really, again, about 8 or 9 or 10 hours. It's about how the good sleep. So simple things like getting all the light out of your room, getting out, like shutting off the screens in front of your face an hour before you go to bed. Little things like that will help you sleep better. So I hope that's helpful. And I was trying to go through to see if anybody has any questions. Lastly, I was going to talk about this. If you want to know more, this is where I started. I mean, this is my story. And so some people will be like, you don't need a product to get into ketosis. Well, I did. And I think I hear way more stories of people that either need it or get frustrated because they're in ketosis and they're out of ketosis. They ate too much protein, they didn't eat enough fat. And then you know what I mean? Like, all of those have a factor in getting into ketosis and a high enough ketosis. Can you track your ketones on a pee strip? Okay, that's another common question. The pee strips are not very accurate, and actually the longer you eat keto, low carb, or the longer you drink this product, the less likely the strips will work for a couple of reasons. And actually, you don't really even want them to work, because you want your body to uptake the ketones the best they can, right? So when somebody goes, my pee strip isn't turning purple, but I feel great, and so it's a blood meter, but then they'll go track their blood and they're at like a 1.2. So the best way to track is a blood meter. You can go on Amazon, you can just type in keto blood meter. I think they're like $40, and you can track that. Do you have to? No, but if you really want to know if you're in ketosis, that's the best way to track it, is your blood. Now, what I love about Keto Max is you can test this in your blood in under an hour. It will put you in ketosis in under an hour. If you're like, what is this? It's a powder. You shake it up, you drink it. I'm drinking a blue one, and it's called Blue Ocean. And it gives you ketones. And so it helps with energy, focus, appetite control, fat loss, sleep, better mood, craving, skin, all of that. Why did I start with this? Because honestly, I wasn't looking for anything. And so as a mom, my husband asked me to try it. I was trying to be a really great supportive wife, and I was like, sure, I'll try it. I'll be a great wife. I'm sure it's going to taste like garbage, and I'm never going to do it again. And I tried it, and I loved it. And then I said, I'm never going to share this with anybody, so please don't ask me. And then as I started hearing other moms say, I'm tired, or hey, I want some fat loss, or all of these different things, I was like, I have something for you. They're ketones. I have no idea what this is, but you should try it. And so I just need you to know something. You don't know what you don't know, right? And wisdom, you always hear that saying, wisdom is power, but you want to know something? It's actually not until you take the action that actually creates it. You can know everything that I'm telling you already. You could have all the wisdom in the world. You could have read everything about ketones and ketosis, but it's until you take the action and actually switch something over in your life is when you're going to actually see the change. Oftentimes people go, well, I know all of this. Okay, now you have to do it, right? Excuse me. And so why I love this product. I love this because this is like a life preserver. Gets your head above the water and helps you go, okay, I can see up here, I can go to the grocery store, I can make better choices, and you've got the energy to get up and go play with your kids, and you've got the appetite control, and you've got the cravings, and then from there, we help you make a lifestyle choice of switching one meal at a time, switching water over pop, and so I will help you. So if you want to know more about this, or if you just want a 5 or 10 day experience, I do those all day long. A lot of you have gotten them from me. A lot of you are trying them. Just post a 5 or 10 below and I'll send you some information about that. So if you want to try it, the reason I do the 5 and 10 day is that you can try a variety of the flavors without committing a month to anything. I walk you through how to take it, give you some food ideas. You can go, ooh, I love it, or you can go, no thanks, Stephanie, and I'm not offended either way. And then it's really not about fat loss in 5 days. It's about how's your energy in those 5 days. For me, the very first day, I didn't need a nap, and I was like, game changer, what is this stuff? And I haven't taken a nap in 3 years, and I don't say that lightly. I say, I feel phenomenal, and I don't like naps, and I don't have time to sit around and take a nap. Like, I just don't. I've got stuff to do. I've got kids to take care of. I've got homeschool. I've got kids to teach how to read. Are you kidding me? That's the hardest thing in my life right now, is getting my children to read. So if anybody wants to come and work with me, you can come and live in my basement and teach my children to read. I'd love that. Okay, so anyways, 5 or 10 below if you want to know more about that. So we've got the reboot going on sale till the 7th. That's all we've got as far as the plateau. I answered a whole bunch of Q&A. If you've got more Q&A questions, post that below, and I will reach out to you and answer some more Q&A questions. I think I covered the basics of them. And I would just say, don't be afraid to ask questions. You're going to see a variety of people all over the place with all different ways of how you should do it, what you should do it. Pay attention to your body, track your food, and just go, am I hungry? Am I not hungry? Take one meal at a time. So reboot only until the 7th. You can't get it whenever you want to. It's only for a short amount of time. Then we'll do it in July again, 5 or 10 day experience. And lastly, I was going to talk about just an opportunity. And so I'll cover this in like 1 minute, honestly, because I don't love to talk about this, but I think it's super powerful, because I had a lot of moms reach out to me and go, Stephanie, what do you do? Because I stay home. My whole family stays home. So my family, we work from home. My husband and I do this full time, and we travel, and we are super blessed. First of all, we get to share our story with others and hopefully inspire others just to feel better. But it started with Prove It. And so I tell people I get to share a product that changed my life. And so if you're open to a conversation at all, I just tell people my goal when I first started sharing this was like, hey, I'd love some grocery money. Like, all I need is some grocery money. My husband works at an insurance company, or he made videos. He used to work for Life Church. If anybody's familiar with Life Church in Oklahoma, we worked there for 5 years. Then we moved back to Minnesota to be with our family. And so we've done a lot of different things, and we chose for me to stay home. But my goal was like, man, if I could help other moms feel great and I could make some grocery money, that would be super great. And then we reached that, and then I was like, man, if I could get a van that wasn't held together by duct tape, that wasn't off Craigslist, every 18 months we had to buy a new one because it fell apart, that would be great. And so just so you know, there's an amazing opportunity here. And what we've learned in the last 3 years is it's called community-based marketing. Like, I'm not going to lie, it's phenomenal. And I was like, I don't want to talk to anybody about it. But what I've realized is we can help people go further faster because I've learned so much. I've learned in the value of community. I've learned in the value of education. And what's fun is I get to see these doctors and experts team up with Prove It and go, we've been studying ketones for decades. And so let's work together. Let's collaborate. And so I love Prove It because they're leading with education. We've got a phenomenal product that works 100% of the time. And so I would love to team up with you. If you just want to have a conversation with me and go, Stephanie, what does this look like, right? How can I make a little bit of money, or how could I get my product for free, or how could I share it with some other moms? How could I inspire people? Like, if you've always dreamed of that, let's talk, because I would love to help you with that, and I totally can, because I've learned so much in these last 3 years. So I'll end it there, and I hope you have a great day. Post any of your Q&A questions below, and I will come back and do another Q&A soon, or check out the reboot, do a 5 or 10 day experience, and that's all I've got for you. So I've kept you long enough. I will talk to you later, and have a great day.